Feedback isn't an attack on your character, it's information. It's the universe pointing to an area you might have overlooked. The Stoic learns to listen, to filter out what's unhelpful, and to integrate what's true. There's dignity in accepting imperfection too. You don't have to pretend, you don't have to put on a mask for the world or for yourself. You can acknowledge, I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. That acknowledgement doesn't weaken you, it grounds you. It gives you permission to keep moving even when the road is slow or the steps are small. Persistence is often less about brute strength and more about the willingness to wait and to trust the process. Like a gardener who plants seeds and tends them without expecting overnight miracles, the real growth happens below the surface, out of sight, until one day it breaks through. The man who accepts slow progress and who finds satisfaction in each small advance ends up building something that lasts. When you let go of perfectionism, the journey itself becomes lighter. You start to enjoy the work more. You notice small victories. You become kinder to yourself and, perhaps unexpectedly, to others, because you know now that everyone is struggling in their own way and everyone falls short sometimes. You don't need to rush. You don't need to be flawless. You just need to keep moving forward. Over time, this approach to life builds a kind of inner strength that no external setback can erase. Your confidence no longer depends on the outcome of any single attempt. Your sense of purpose is rooted not in how the world sees you, but in the quiet knowledge that you are growing day by day in ways that matter. You stop wasting your energy trying to control everything and start investing it in what you can shape. Your choices, your effort, your attitude. The result is a life with more meaning, not because everything went perfectly, but because you lived in alignment with your values. You responded to failure with curiosity, to obstacles with flexibility, and to criticism with open-mindedness. That's real resilience. That's what endures when everything else fades. So, next time you find yourself haunted by the old voices demanding perfection, whispering doubts, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, who am I doing this for? What can I learn here? What step can I take today? No matter how small, let yourself move. Let yourself grow. That's where the power is. Value of focusing on yourself. Principle number 3, value of focusing on yourself. Perhaps you already know that something in your life needs to change, but you're not sure what or how. Maybe you've tried different methods, set new goals, copied other people's routines, yet none of it seems to work, at least not for long. I understand that frustration. I spent years spinning in circles, chasing after external fixes, measuring my worth by things outside of myself. Nothing truly shifted until I learned to do one thing. Focus on myself, not on the world, not on the past, not on what might come tomorrow. Just myself in this present moment. It sounds simple, even obvious. In practice, it's anything but. The world encourages you to look everywhere but inward. There's always someone more successful, someone who seems to have it all figured out, someone whose timeline you think you're supposed to match. But the only thing you ever really have control over, truly, is yourself right now. And despite what you might have heard, focusing on yourself is not selfish. In fact, it's the opposite. When you invest in yourself, your growth, your clarity, your well-being, you actually become more available, more valuable, and more present for the people around you. You become a better friend, partner, father, or colleague. Not by pouring out what you don't have, but by strengthening what you do. Imagine the way an athlete trains. A clear goal, consistent effort, and a discipline to show up day after day, regardless of mood or motivation. It's the same with personal growth. Maybe you want to learn a new skill, public speaking, coding, or simply being more comfortable in your own skin. At first, it feels impossible. You stumble, make mistakes, and wonder if you're just wasting your time. But if you keep going, if you return to your practice, something changes. What was once intimidating becomes familiar. What felt out of reach slowly shifts into your daily reality. But this kind of change is only possible when you're willing to eliminate the things that dilute your attention. There's a difference between being busy and being intentional. I think of Jane, a friend who always seemed exhausted, always saying yes to every social invite, always scrolling through her phone at night until her eyes ached. She realized her days were spent reacting, answering emails, replying to messages, doing what everyone else wanted. There was no time left for her own goals. So she made a choice. She started saying no to gatherings that didn't matter, set her phone aside in the evenings, and reclaimed space for reading, reflection, and real rest. It wasn't easy, and not everyone understood, but her focus sharpened, her energy returned, and she felt herself changing. It's not only about subtracting distractions. Growth means feeding your mind with new ideas too. Read a book that challenges you. Listen to a podcast that opens your perspective. Learn about something that has nothing to do with your job or your immediate needs. It keeps you sharp. It builds adaptability, the quiet confidence that whatever changes come, you'll be ready to meet them. None of this happens without discipline, not the kind that bullies you or makes you feel small, but the quiet consistency that helps you keep going on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Picture a student preparing for exams. Some mornings he wakes up excited. Other times it's just the habit that carries him forward. Day by day he builds something real, not through bursts of inspiration but through steady, repeated effort. Still, progress never moves in a straight line. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening, that your efforts aren't paying off. But that's just how deep change works. It's like planting a tree. For a long time, there's nothing to see. Roots are forming out of sight. If you're patient and you keep tending to what matters, one day you notice growth. It was happening all along. Patience is non-negotiable. If you measure your life only by milestones, you'll always feel behind. But if you can learn to value the process, the quiet daily progress, you'll see that's where real transformation happens. There is something else too. Time is not an unlimited resource. You get a certain number of hours in your day and you choose how to spend them. That's why protecting your time is an act of respect both for yourself and for others. Be deliberate about where you invest it. Sometimes that means saying no to invitations, no to distractions, even no to people who don't understand your priorities. And this is where priorities become crucial. It's easy to fill your calendar with urgent things. But if you look closer, how many of those things actually reflect what you care about? What do you want to stand for? What values matter most to you? When you're clear on that, you can align your daily actions with those priorities. Every yes becomes intentional, not automatic. None of this is easy. Focusing on yourself requires awareness, discipline, courage, and patience. The world will pull you in 1,000 directions. But real freedom, real growth happens when you return to yourself, when you invest in your own mind, your own habits, your own path. As Marcus Aurelius put it, don't waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors unless with a view to some mutual benefit. Be always asking yourself, what is it in this moment I am doing that is mine? The work is to turn your potential into reality. Not someday, but today with every choice. Your boundaries, your habits, your priorities, they are yours to define. Focus on yourself, not because the world owes you something, but because this is the only life you get. The quiet power is in your hands. And in that focus, you will find the freedom and progress you've been searching for all along. Principle number 4, rejecting distractions. Distractions. Anyone who says they never get distracted is either not paying attention or not being honest. You know this scene well. You sit down at your desk intending to check a few important emails, but your inbox is overflowing, and that sense of overwhelm is almost embarrassing. Before you finish reading the first line, your phone buzzes. A colleague just sent a funny TikTok. It takes only a second to swipe up and let yourself laugh. Minutes slip by, maybe 5, maybe 30. When you finally glance back at your inbox, you remember the doctor's appointment you scheduled for tomorrow. Might as well fill out those intake forms now, right? The forms need an emergency contact number, so you open your phone again. There, a message from an old friend is waiting. You reply. By the time you remember what you sat down to do, you've circled the day's tasks without ever landing on any of them. It's easy to laugh it off or blame technology, but underneath is something more uncomfortable, the sense that your time is no longer your own. Time is the one asset you can't buy back. Every second is spent for good. Most people won't admit how much of it they let slip away in distractions. No one's keeping score except yourself in those moments late at night when you wonder where the day went and what it really added up to. The real loss isn't just wasted time, it's wasted attention. It's the subtle erosion of direction, of purpose. You trade a handful of focus for 1,000 fleeting moments that in hindsight mean nothing. At some point, you realize you can't keep living, as if tomorrow will be any different, unless you choose.